Hi everybody, my name is Victoria. Welcome back to my channel. I have my cat right here. As you can see her tail. There's Rosie, and Bailey is always chasing Rosie whenever Rosie's around, so there might be a little commotion at the beginning of this video as they settle down. Every time I sit down to film a video, they get excited that I'm sitting on the floor, and then they like come over, and then there's just like a little bit of a shuffle. I feel like at the start of all my videos. So anyways, I have not done my December wrap up yet. So that is what I'm setting out to do today. We're about 9 days into January, and I figured it was high time I talked about the books that I read in December. And I am sorry to say that it might be a little bit of a negative video because I only enjoyed one of these books out of the 4. So settle in for a little bit of ranting. It's not my typical video. I tend to enjoy what I pick up, but December was a different story. So let me start with the one that I DNF'd, and I hummed and hawed over DNFing this for so long. I think I started reading this in the summertime and was really just crawling through it, and then decided finally it was just not working for me. And that is The Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. I was pretty gutted that this didn't work for me because it was my first Aardvark book. I subscribed to Aardvark, and this was one of the books that drew me into the subscription. I wanted to try a Stephen Graham Jones. The quality of Aardvark books, by the way, is excellent. Like, if I was gonna grade a book on physical quality, it would be a 5-star book. They're just really well made, very high quality made books. So unfortunately, this was not the book for me to start with. And yeah, I have a feeling I have some more Aardvark books on my shelf now from the subscription box, and so I'm hoping that I'll have a better experience going forward, because there's quite a few that I'm pretty stoked about that I've been languishing over. But I wanted to read this one first, and I just got stuck in it. So what is this? This is a 2025 new release. It was very hyped. Stephen Graham Jones is a horror author, a modern day horror author, and I had not read him before, but I'd heard people talk about him very highly, and I would say he's got definitely more of a literary fiction flair to him, in addition to the horror elements. So that made me think I was gonna like this as a horror book. I'm not a big horror reader, not something I tend to reach for, but the kind of literary aspect of it appealed to me. Some of the reviews that I was hearing were like just rave reviews, and so I was so ready to love this book, and I just found myself bogged down for a few reasons. So first of all, I found the writing, just the writing style in general, to be high quality, like very skillful writing, but for me personally, it didn't flow in a way that I was catching on to. I always felt like I had to read so slowly, and like different turns of phrases and different sentences, sentence structure, just the way he was telling the story felt so slow to me. And it's also epistolary, kind of, basically, in its style, in the way that he's telling it. And there's a bit of a back and forth perspective. And then there's this overarching kind of like where you're reading someone writing the story. And so you're reading their record of this story. And so there's some levels, some layers to that, which are all things that I like, but I felt that we just moved so slowly through the plot. And I got more than halfway through. I got like 55-60% of the way through this book. And I just felt like at that point, it needed to pick up. Like, the plot I don't know, even though things were happening, I felt like nothing was happening. And I think that might have just been the style, maybe just the style that it was written. And then the second thing that made me put this down and decide it wasn't for me was that I found that the horror elements were tending to be more like body horror and grossness, gross things. Everything was just kind of disgusting. And there's a place for that in horror, I know, and that's an element of horror. But I felt like it was the only element of scary or creepy was this body horror kind of stuff. And that is just absolutely not for me. I hate body horror. I can't stand it, and I don't find it harrowing or scary. I just find it gross. Now, I know that many people are lauding this book as a testament to Dracula as well, and I can definitely see the ties because I've read Dracula too. I can kind of see how he drew some inspiration on just like how that book is formatted. Dracula is also an epistolary novel. And then there's also an element of Native American history in this as well. And for the people that this book was amazing for, I'm so happy for them. I wish I was you. I really didn't enjoy picking it up. I didn't want to pick it up, which is, I think, why it took me so many months to even get 60% through the book. I just did not look forward to picking this up. I was not drawn in. So the Buffalo Hunter was unfortunately a flop for me, and I'm very sad about that. Truly, I wish that I liked this. I really do. But I will be moving on for now. Will I try another Stephen Graham Jones book? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. It's possible I'm just gonna move on from that author. Okay, so next up, let's just keep the negativity going. So this book, I actually rated it, I think I put 3 stars on Goodreads, but I think I'm gonna lower it. I'm gonna lower it to 2. And that was a romantic comedy book, contemporary romance, and that was How Freaking Romantic by Emily Harding. And this one was a book of the month pick for me. And I, once again, rarely, I don't know why I'm picking up contemporary romance from book of the month, because usually they don't work for me. In fact, I don't think any of them in recent times have worked for me. So I think I should probably just stop and only read contemporary romance from certain authors that I already know that I like, because I have like Emily Henry I should go back to, but this is Emily Harding, which is an author I had not heard of before. This is a office romance between a lawyer attorney and then a lawyer attorney in training, basically, and they basically hate each other at the beginning, and they go from enemies to something else, which, I think you know what it is. So it's an enemies to lovers story, and it's about lawyers in the law world and that kind of stressful life. So I originally picked this up because I thought the writing was strong. When you sign up for Book of the Month, you can actually read the first page or so of the book before you decide to get that book in your subscription box. And so I liked the writing of this, and I do think that this author has some good writing chops. I thought, for the most part, the structure of the book, the plot, the banter, I thought it was good. The chemistry between the two characters I thought was strong. I liked the male character, and the female character I liked at the beginning, and then I didn't like her so much later. And it's not that I wasn't rooting for them to get together, because I was, but I felt like the ending was disappointing. And I have to go into spoilers to explain why the ending was disappointing. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and go into a little spoilery section. And if you're going to read this book, then skip over. I'll put a timestamp right here so that you will skip to the next section. But okay, spoilers incoming. One of the things that is the biggest struggle for this main character is marriage. So the concept of marriage. Her mom was divorced many times. Like, I think she was on like her 6th husband or something pretty high, a pretty high number like that. So she has no faith in marriage, in the institute of marriage. To her, getting married just signals instability, and she does not trust it. And I thought that would have been a good opportunity at the end for him to propose, which is what I thought was happening. Once things were going well with them, they get together in the end. They're, a couple in the end. But instead of proposing, he does like a proposal for her to move in with him. And he's like, he gets down on one knee and is like, will you move in with me? And he presents her a key in a box instead of a ring. And I just felt like there was a missed opportunity for her to heal from her wounds. And I guess, maybe the author is saying like, oh, like you don't need to get married. But to me, that was a disappointing way to go about it. Because I thought if she had come to terms with getting married and they had decided to get married, I thought that would have been a sweeter ending than will you move in with me, as kind of like, going through just like, let's be still a kind of temporary thing. Let's move in together without the actual marriage commitment. And I thought that was a missed opportunity. I know I keep saying that, but I felt like the character would have grown better if we had gone that extra step. And I would have rooted for this more. The other reason I didn't like this book was because there was a lot of cursing. To the point where it was annoying. It was like, we probably need to expand our vocabulary here, because I was tired of reading the cursing, the same curse words over and over. So, yeah, that is my spoilery discussion of this. Disappointing is the word, unfortunately. So, yeah, I would skip it. It's not worth going out of your way to read that one. So, okay, spoiler section over. Oh man, this is the most negative video I've done all year, I think. Well, from 2025, I mean. It's only my second video of 2026. So, here's another contemporary romance that I tried from Book of the Month and was even more of a flop for me. I think I really should just stop. I should not pick these up anymore. Okay, so I wanted to read a holiday romance, and I was kind of between two. There was one that Aardvark had and one that Book of the Month had. And I went with Book of the Month for some reason. I don't remember why. maybe because I had a credit. I had a credit for that one, for Book of the Month over Aardvark. I'm not sure. But I picked up Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. And B.K. Borison is also an author who I read earlier in 2025. There was, what was it? It's behind me. First Time Caller. This pink is mine over here. So I read First Time Caller by this author earlier this year, and I gave it 3 stars. It started off really strong. Again, once again, starts off strong, disappoints me in the end. I didn't like the wrap-up of First Time Caller, but I liked a lot about it. I loved the female main character. I loved the banter and the relationships. I did not love the male interest in First Time Caller. And Good Spirits, I sort of had almost the same experience, but worse, because Good Spirits was just a book I wanted to have fun with. I was ready to have fun with it as the concept is kind of silly of this book. I was ready to have fun with it, and then it started to take itself very seriously, and the plot got very serious, the drama got very serious, and then it just felt kind of ridiculous. So what this premise is that she is being haunted by the ghost of Christmas past. And she doesn't really know why, and he doesn't really know why either. He's basically just assigned to her. It's kind of funny. There's kind of like a ghost office. And so there's like different types of ghosts, and then they have to haunt humankind for different reasons. And so he's a Christmas ghost. He's a ghost of Christmas past. So as you can see, like there's like a bit of a silliness to the premise, right? And so that actually appealed to me. I was ready for that. And I felt like we leaned into that silliness more towards the beginning of the book. And so she is being haunted by him, and he can't figure out why, because she doesn't seem to have any like bad things. She's not like a Scrooge. She pays her taxes. She's a good citizen. She's a nice person. She cares about people. And so he's convinced, like, I'm gonna dig up dirt on her somehow. I'm sure that she's done something terrible, and that's why I'm haunting her. And so we go from her different memories, kind of like how the Ghost of Christmas Past, if you know the Christmas Carol, they go into different memories of your past, and then you're like watching yourself, just like in all the Christmas Carol depictions. And the book, so they're watching things that have happened to her in the past, and different life experiences, and we go from there. That's probably as little spoilers as I can give you. But at a certain point, this became so melodramatic. I once again didn't really like the male character. I liked the female character and not the male character, which was the same problem I had in First Time Caller. There was a sort of halt to the story towards the middle, which also happened in First Time Caller. It followed the same formula that I read in First Time Caller. So it was a little bit like, okay, so that's your formula as an author. I guess you don't do anything differently. And then there was just a lot of smut. There's no other way to say that. There was just a lot of smut. It went on for a really long time. Way too long. I had to skip. It was like, is this over yet? Oh my goodness, it's like 8 pages worth of smut in the middle, and then there's more. So I felt like it was just like a lot. It was a lot. And I'm okay with, like, I accept when I pick up a contemporary romance, I'm probably gonna come across it, but this was like a lot. This felt like maybe this is the reason for the book, this is just a book to get to the smut. And so that was not my favorite. So we do come out of that, and then there's sort of a story resolution, which I didn't think made any sense, and I thought was super convenient, the way everything wrapped up. It was stupid. That's the word. It was a stupid ending. It was stupid. I did not like this. This was not good. It makes me not want to pick up B.K. Borison ever again. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just say I'm moving on. So yeah, I almost wanted to try to pick up her other one. She has another holiday romance about like a Christmas tree farm. I think it's called Love Light Farms, possibly. I've also seen good reviews for that, but I've also seen good reviews for this, and I thought this was hot garbage. So, yeah. I am not going to pick up a new contemporary romance anytime soon. They've been very disappointing. December was very disappointing in that regard. And I just wanted something cute and fun, and it's not what I got with Good Spirits. So, moving on. Okay, there is one book that I enjoyed. That was The Realm of the Gods by Tamara Pierce. This was the last book in the Immortals Quartet, which I was reading with Christy and Dia for our Tortal read-along. We are still going. We're now on to the third quartet, and we had a live show on this book already, so if you are familiar with it, you want to check it out. We do go into quite a bit of spoilers, so just be aware of that. But this is the last book in the Immortals Quartet, and I overall enjoyed it. What we've kind of decided as a read-along group is that Tamara Pierce is really good at starting the series, and then usually the books after that are just never quite as good as the first one. I felt that way by the end of the series. Although, I didn't think the fourth book was a bad book, but it was somewhere in the middle for me in the series. Part of that is because Tamara Pierce does this thing, and now that we've read 8 books by her, I'm seeing patterns in her writing. She does this thing where she likes to take her characters out of their setting and put them in a completely new setting. And for me, it doesn't work most of the time. And this was similar to that. I had wished we spent a little more time actually on the ground in Tortal. There were things that we were told happened, but we didn't get to see happen because they're like off somewhere else. So a big part of this series is Dane, the main character, and learning about her parentage and where she comes from. And so we do get a lot more of those answers. We get a lot more resolution with that in this book. But to do that, Tamara Pierce has to take her out and take her somewhere else. I don't want to say too much because it is the last book of a series. I don't want to give away too many spoilers. But to deal with her parentage, she has to kind of be removed from the main action of Tortal. Her and also Numair, who is her teacher, mage, companion, and they are together for most of the adventure of this book. The resolution of this quartet I thought was good, but there were some things that were unexplained or conveniently wrapped up, and some things that I just wanted maybe more of, but I guess that would have made it a longer book. If she's going for a young adult audience, I know you maybe don't have as much page time as you would with like an adult epic fantasy, but I still really enjoyed Dane's story overall. I love the animal companions. There's so much humor in this series. I felt like between all the Alana books and the Dane books were more lighthearted, a little bit more playful, more colorful, and that has a lot to do with the animal companions, which I just thought were charming and wonderful and a real strength of this. And they made it feel like a true YA or middle grade series. I think we're definitely more YA by the time we get to this book, but I thought it was just delightful. Every book was strong. None of the books were quite as strong as the first book. So, Tamara Pierce, once again, very good at that first initial book out of the gate. But I also think that the fourth books have tended to be good conclusions, and I thought this was a good conclusion as well. So are the Tamara Pierce books worth going through? Is the Tortal universe worth going through? For me, it has been, and I think it depends on you as a reader, because They're certainly tropey, but Tamara Pierce was sort of inventing these tropes as we know them. And so now as readers who are further along in time, they can feel tropey and a little bit predictable sometimes. But I think at the time that she was writing this, she was a trailblazer. She was a trailblazer of the fantasy genre for young women and young adults in particular. Yeah, so I think I gave this about probably 4 stars, and it was really strong. It was a really strong conclusion to the fantasy series. I do recommend the Dane books. Between Alana and Dane, the Dane books were stronger, just overall, and cohesive. They're a little more cohesive than the Alana books. All right, those are all the books that I finished in December. And yeah, so a bit of a disappointing reading month, but what can you do? Now that I've finally wrapped up December, my next video will be my top books of 2025. So I'm very excited to finally make that video for you and talk about my absolute favorites that I read last year. All right, thank you so much for watching my video today and for sticking around this long. If you made it this long, go ahead and leave a dragon emoji in the comments if you've made it all this way. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Keep reading great books, and until next time, bye-bye.